Would you please state your name and who you represent for the record?
Kelly Fuller for Sweet Austin Bakery, and I am a little nervous. I did not prepare to speak, but after hearing Representative Gaddis, I decided that...
Take your time. We don't bite. Well, actually, we do bite. We don't bark.
I'll hurry. Okay, my husband and I started a bakery May 15th of last year. We did it legally. We took every penny in our savings account, and we charged the rest. I will cry. I'm sorry. We are $20,000 in debt. I went to the health department. I followed all of their rules. I went back repeatedly with layouts of our floor plan, all of the equipment I had to buy, and I made sure that I did everything legally. My kitchen is in the back portion of my home with a separate entrance. Everything checked out. I'm inspected at any time the health inspectors want to come by. They come into my kitchen. I've had 3 inspections. They've all been perfect because I want to do what is right, and I have done what is right. I cannot stand up here and talk about, public safety, and I'm not an expert on it. I don't have 18, 20 years experience like these people do. Like the people that I called all over Texas that are health officials that said this cannot go through, this is not safe. I know you've all seen the emails with the cat. I saw them, they're pretty gross. They're talking about that they are going to receive training. They're going to go down and get a food handler's car. Is their husband going to get a food handler's car who brings home steaks for dinner that night, shoves it anywhere in the icebox he can find room for it, sorry, refrigerator, anywhere that he can find room? Is there going to be over an open bowl of icing that's just going to drip into it? Is their teenage son, who their mother has told them repeatedly, do not drink out of a milk carton? Is he going to come home and drink out of a milk carton and the mother that is certified does not know and use this milk to make cakes for a wedding for 200? There are cats, and you don't tell a cat what to do. The cat does not have training, and that cat will jump over your kitchen counter. It'll jump up on the table. The cat hasn't had the training. The cat doesn't know better. You can shoo the cat out, but in some of the pictures you've seen, sometimes it's too late, and you can't just wipe it off and serve it to the public. We're talking about custards, cream filling, Swiss meringue. All of these can be potentially dangerous. My main concern, yes, public safety is important, but I did this legally. I am in debt. I kept my day job that I've had 2 pay cuts and cut hours. I could lose my job at any moment. And someone said to me, aren't you glad you started this bakery last year? Now I'm kind of not, because if this is passed, I'm $20,000 in debt. Competition is fine. I talk to my competitors in the bakery, and they are legal. We refer customers to each other. But you can go on Craigslist and see where people are openly advertising illegal bakeries and offering to do it at half price of a bakery. I spend hours dealing with brides that then go home and say, my mother's cousin's coworker says she'll do it for $200. I can't compete with that. They're illegal. They're breaking the law. A lot of these ladies are my friends. I've never said anything, but when you come after something that is so important to me and put my family in debt, I have to say something. And that's pretty much it. Thank you.
Thank you, members. Are there any questions of Ms. Fuller? Questions? Thank you very much. The chair calls Jennifer Bartos. Would you please state your name and who you represent for the record?
I'm Jennifer Bartos. I own a business called All-in-One Bake Shop. We're here in Austin. We sell all kinds of supplies for making cakes, cookies, and candy. I sell supplies to many of the groups that we've talked about today. I sell supplies to moms that are wanting to bake cakes for their kids. I sell supplies to people who are doing the businesses that we talked about from their homes today. And then I also sell supplies to professionals. So I want to talk about kind of those groups. We know that it's going on now. People are baking cakes from their home. People know that it's illegal. People are told that it's illegal. What this bill would allow would be registration, It would also allow for rules that are going to be developed by the Health and Human Services Department. It would allow oversight and restriction, and it would allow for these people to have a legal business, and it would allow for them to have insurance and things to protect themselves and their families. This bill is not going to necessarily impact whether this group is going to continue doing this or not. What it will impact is whether these people are able to do this legally. I also sell to professionals, and there is no doubt that just like the story that Kelly Fuller told, and just like the story that Salya Vandy told, we have professionals that have invested lots and lots of money, their time, their efforts into putting everything together. Those people would be on a whole different playing field than what we're talking about here that would be approved with this bill. They would be able to make anything. They can make potentially and non-potentially hazardous foods. They can sell not only directly to consumers, but they can sell retail storefronts. They can sell wholesale to hotels. They can sell wholesale to other venues. They have all of those opportunities, and that's what going to that next level gets them. The people that we're talking about that would be taking from their homes would not be able to sell wholesale. They would only be selling consumer to consumer, and they would not be able to have a retail storefront. And they would only be able to make a small subset of those things, the non-potentially hazardous foods, the cookies, the cakes, and things like that. As far as my feeling on food safety, I really do think that this is going on right now. I think that this bill would provide a lot of protection that's not there with the education that would go on. We teach classes at my store, and just like what Sally was talking about, we have situations where people ask if they can do this and how they can do it legally, and there is no provision for being able to do it legally. But with that information that they could gain between classes and what we could provide during classes at our store, they would be able to have the knowledge that any of the people that are working in a commercial bakery would also have.
Members, do you have any questions of Ms. Barton? Thank you very much for your testimony. Hans Nadler. Mr. Nadler, please state your name and who you represent for the record.
Yes. My name is Hans Nadler. I own Nadler's Bakery in San Antonio, Texas. And I'd like to speak against this bill. I'm also on the board of directors of the Retail Bakers of America and also of the Greater Southwest Retail Bakers Association. I'm here to speak in behalf of Nadler's Bakery and also about other members of our associations. Cottage Bill HB 3282 troubles us very much. In San Antonio and the state of Texas, there are hundreds of legal and illegal home bakeries that produce and sell wedding cakes and other bakery items. We have no problem with the legal home bakers because they must adhere to the same laws and regulations, taxes, health requirements as we do. They are fair competitors. However, the hundreds of illegal home bakers, also called cottage food producers, are unfair competitors. The Cottage Bill HB 3282 would in effect make them legal without requiring them to live up to the same requirements that we have to contend with. It would actually allow home bakers to operate a cottage food business without oversight, without being regulated, and with no assurances that the public, that these businesses are really producing safe food. Don't have to pay taxes, are not regulated, have no oversight to contend with, and do not have food license and are not being inspected like we do. They don't have to have grease traps. They don't have to have OSHA regulations, building requirements, fire safety, tax IDs, all of those things that we have to do. HB 3282 would allow home bakers to be unfair competitors to legitimate businesses, bakeries in this case, allowing them to operate without many of the expenses we are subject to, being able to sell bakery goods and other food items at lower prices, yet without a guarantee to the public that their products are safe to eat. I have with me a statement from the Sanitation Services Manager of the San Antonio Metropolitan Health District, where he writes, and I will leave it with him, the cost that, for instance, the city of San Antonio would be into he figures about $800,000 would it cost them to have 10 more inspectors and equipment and all that for them, because that's how many clandestine or illegal or legal bakeries, illegal bakers there are in San Antonio. The question we have to ask is, if all these issues are not important, the health issues, then why are they demanded from legitimate business? It seems to me that if they are important, they should apply to everyone that sells bakery goods or the goods to the public. Do we really want to have two sets of laws for the sale of bakeries and production of it? I'd be happy to answer any questions if there are.
Thanks, Mr. Nadler. Are there any questions? I have one. How long have you been in business?
46 years.
Very much. Well,
Still working.
Still working. Good, yeah. And I hope I like that. Thank you very much for your testimony. That's on the earth, not in business. Amy Olson. Nope, she's not here. So that's good. Yeah. David Jefferson. David Jefferson of Tarrant County. Is that you?
Yes, sir. Good day. My name is David Jefferson. I'm the Tarrant County Public Health Department. I'm Environmental Health Manager. And I welcome this opportunity today to get to say a few words to the committee about this bill. Philosophically, I don't really have a problem with the bill. It sounds like a great idea. But unfortunately, 30-plus years of experience forces me to testify against it. During the bill's layout, several points were brought up, some of which I'd like to address real quickly. First of all, one of the most obvious ones is the example of Dell and Microsoft as successful cottage startups. The problem is those are not valid analogies. If Michael Dell made a mistake, he didn't kill somebody. In this business, making a mistake affects people's lives. Several other things have been brought up, some of the other people have spoken to. I'm not going to go into a great deal of detail, but some of you have seen that video of the cat licking the cake. That's great. Have you also seen the video of the lady who is preparing the unleavened bread for her church communion service? And in that, while she's talking to the person who's doing the interviewing, if you look carefully at the video, you see at arm's reach is a child in a diaper sitting on that same countertop. This sort of thing can happen in commercial establishments too. We do occasionally find these problems. When we find these problems, we get them corrected. We cannot do that in a household. Another thing in this bill, it purports to give us the right to do an investigation and to go into the home as part of that investigation, do an inspection.